Sportsline Podcast. Appreciate you joining us on the CHCH and Parent Media platforms. I'm Bubba O'Neill. As you know, this podcast is all about the outstanding athletes, coaches, executives, and teams that hail from this region. Today, it's a show about a sport that can be played by anyone of almost any age. Over the last couple of decades, flag and touch football has passed tackle football in enrollment. Reasons why? Safety. The enrollment of girls, boys, women, and men, all with wider age groups participating. In Southern Ontario, Niagara Youth Flag Football has emerged as the most successful flag football program, with divisions ranging from 8 to 30 teams in different tiers to ensure quality and fair play for all. In addition, they have partnered with the National Football League and their Flag Football Association and are competing in their tournaments. Let's chat with Mr. Matt Hill, whose passion for this sport has it in a real good place in the Niagara region. Matt, what you're doing is unbelievable. Thanks for joining us in the Sportsline Podcast.
Thanks for having us, Bubba. Huge fan. We just got back from our nationals, as I'm sure you mentioned, and we had 4 gold medals at the national championship with our Niagara Nitro, 1 silver. There was only 6 divisions offered, so total 37-3 record for the club over the weekend. So we're riding a big high right now. We're kind of in our downtime, but we're very proud of all the coaches, players, and parents and all the success we've had.
Well, you've had success. Now, before we talk about any of that success, I need to know a little bit about you. And you are really kind of one of the brainchilds of what's going on in Niagara. First of all, where did this passion for this sport come from? Because I know when you began, it really wasn't the behemoth that it is now.
Yeah, so it goes back about 15 years. I grew up in Stony Creek, Hamilton. I was involved in some flag football there. Hamilton's flag, 5-on-5, great league. Got to go down in New Orleans, win a world championship, be around Drew Brees, Reggie Bush. Then I moved to Niagara. I was coaching some tackle, having a lot of fun doing that, and I was like, there's no flag football league in Niagara. Like, I can't wrap my head around this. So just pre-COVID, we started it up, all right, 60 kids. Okay, year one, I think my parents and brother were like, hey, he's a little crazy. My wife, what are you doing? And, fast forward a few years later, and we're over 1,800 kids, and, we're in Niagara Falls, St. Catharines, Welland, Thorold, kids coming from Beamsville, Grimsby, Hamilton, Burlington, all over to come to our house league and also our travel league, our women's league, you name it. So started small. I don't know if we ever envisioned this kind of growth and success, but we're here for it. So
can you repeat the number you just gave me?
1,800. That was that was in our youth side, our last spring season, 1,800. We're gearing up to start summer fall. We started last weekend. We're back at it this week. We're about 1,300. We always dip in the summer fall a little bit, but still a very high and healthy number. And our women's league numbers took off this summer. We had about 80 women playing in our women's league. That was a ton of fun. They had a lot of, it's cool to see the energy out there. It was just contagious. So it's not slowing down. It doesn't look like, and we just keep our foot on the gas.
How do you balance this out with, running this program and also your full-time job?
So actually, I was working at a hospital, Hotel de Shaver, for about 15 years, and you know what? I just couldn't do it. I was burning out. My poor wife and daughter were not getting the best of me. Just too busy, too much going on. So I made the decision to drop down to casual at the hospital and pursue football full-time. And we haven't changed our core values of making it affordable, making sure there's resources to get everyone on the field. That's what really draws me to flag football. Is it's such an affordable sport. At the house league and travel level, we're easily the most affordable league in the province. And I say affordable, not cheapest, because we certainly offer the most value, but we don't lose sight of what it's all about and making sure that there's no financial barriers for the kids.
So you are taking this on as a full-time gig. Like, this is what your baby is right now. I'm sure you've got other people helping you out as well, too. What kind of task is this?
It's a big one. I got a couple important people. Brian, I've brought on full-time, pretty much hopefully full-time. He does a lot of the behind the scenes, the scheduling, the registration. I've got an amazing travel director in Erin. She tackles all our travel teams. Is the reason we're so successful, keeps us in line. A very understanding wife and daughter at home that, work with my odd hours and schedule, and, about 20 to 30 officials, right, on a weekly basis, and over 100 coaches that volunteer their time and just make our league what it is. I always say the biggest success of our league is our coaches. We have just amazing men and women that care so much about the game, about the kids, and just making sure they're having a really positive experience.
Well, you've rightfully said the word success a number of times here, but I have to ask you, why has this sport exploded like it has with these kind of numbers?
I think for us in our region, I can speak to our region. Everyone talks about the Olympics. that's great. We're not all going, maybe one or two of our Nitros down the road, 3, 4, I hope we're going to say, hey, went to the Olympics. But I think for us, we've just always been very passionate about what we're doing. And I always say to people, our league's so successful. I don't want kids back because I want to see my numbers go up. I want them back because I genuinely want them to have a good time. And I think our coaches get that message across. And, it's a big family community. Our Friday night lights, we got DJs, barbecue. It's really a whole vibe, and people enjoy spending their Friday nights or Saturday mornings with us. So I think the fact that everyone knows that it's just a safe place, and everyone's welcome, and all skill types, and we've just had so many different people of different walks of life come through our league and find a home there, and that's what it's all about.
That's what really impresses me when I actually dug into your website and looked at who can play, and anyone can play, everyone can play. You can go a little deeper here, but I'm seeing girls' teams, I'm seeing boys' teams, I'm seeing men's teams. I guess now I'm seeing a women's team. Yeah. And then even with the kids, I'm seeing, or in the men and women, they're like co-ed leagues as well, too. Like, anyone can play this sport.
Anyone can play. And I think that's what makes it such a beautiful game. And, I think we all played the traditional sports growing up. I grew up with soccer, hockey, tennis, flag football. I think it's a different sport that you nailed it. Like, anyone can play. You can't catch a ball, we'll find a home for you on defense or running back. And, you're not the fastest kid. That's okay, because you can play receiver or quarterback. And I think our coaches do a great job at really identifying how can we make sure every child is set up for success. They're not going to be the best player. They're not going to score all the touchdowns. But what do we do to just make sure they're having fun, they're getting active, teaching them some good life lessons, like we talked about earlier, football, right? Flag, tackle, touch. The life lessons in that locker room and amongst that game are so important to set these kids up in life, right? So,
well, and I look at your list of, and I'm sure it's not all of them, but boy, you are sporting I would say a very established and well-versed in football set of coaches as well, too.
Oh, we're fortunate. When you look at the our travel side, former CFLers, NFLers, university-level players, players that have played at a high level and have put in so much time into the flag football program. We have some special people that have put together, our off-seasons. We're doing like speed, strength, and agility twice a week at Young Sportsplex, state-of-the-art facility, right? And our players have the benefit of training there. And we got the sleds, the medicine balls, the hurdles, the weights, you name it, and people go like, wow, they're fast, they're strong, we're doing game film, we got cameras everywhere, we're filming, we have a buy-in, and we have all these resources within our coaching staffs to make sure that we're just setting up all of our athletes for the best they can be, right? So
can you give our listeners and viewers a sort of the range or the ages that are all available for your program?
Yeah, so we have as young, I got my daughter in it last year when she was 4, so we start at 4. We've seen a few 3-year-olds, 4 years old. Their flags are as long as them, but they're having fun.
Like these guys.
Yeah, exactly, right? And then we go all the way, literally, Coach Audrey, one of the best. And then we go all the way up to 18. And, more recently, you're seeing a lot of the male and females, we are getting scholarships on the tackle side, and people go, well, they're not tackle players. They've been refining their skills in the flag and touch for years. They play tackle, obviously, whether it's with their high school team, their club team, but they've been catching and throwing and playing DB and all these skills you need to make yourself a great tackle player at such a young age. And then on the girls' side of things, they're going over to the States and getting real scholarships. We had a few Nitro girls this past year, $12,000, $20,000 to go play flag football, do what they love. And it's just so cool to see that this game is giving these people so many opportunities.
I know that there's different positions on the field. First of all, how many players are on each side?
Yep, so it's 5-on-5.
5-on-5,
yep.
Okay. And there are different positions. There's a quarterback, there's receivers, as you said, there's kind of a blocker as well, too. What makes a good flag football player?
You know what? That's $1 million question, and there's so much that goes into it. I think these hybrid athletes, these kids that are basketball, soccer, hockey, they got the lacrosse, whatever. They're really athletic, and then they come to flag football, and it's like their new passion, and that's all they want. And I am the biggest advocate for multi-sport athlete. I love getting that message across. I think it's so important. I'm never going to tell any of our kids this is all you do. Like, go be an athlete, go have fun, go learn from other coaches. coaches. But I think in flag football, the agility, the speed is important, soft hands, coordination, pulling flags, running routes. It's not a massive field. So, I'm not going to sit there and say speed's everything. We have some, very, let's call it slower players, but they're high IQ, great receivers. and they just really grasp the game. And they're a big part of the team's success. I always say, give me 10 players and let's have a variety, right? Let's just sprinkle a little bit of everything in there and make the best team we can.
That's spectacular. I love that. And I think that's probably one of the attractions of the fact that people can feel comfortable in that team environment.
Yes.
That's so amazing. Another thing that I did kind of notice about your program is that, because it seems like it's going all year round.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the leagues going on, but you also do a number of sort of, you could refine this for me, but like skills classes and stuff like that to teach? And that's got to be awesome for them, a lot of these kids, to get to the next level.
100%, Bubba. You nailed it. And you know what we found as we train all winter long, we're there with our Nitro teams, with our best coaches for an hour and a half, and we got the field for 3 hours. And it's like, how about this next wave? The house league kids, the new kids that want to try, come learn from the best coaches, have fun, and more fun environment. It's not just games, it's skills and drills. And it's so important because those are the kids that might want to try out for Nitro next year. We want to give them an advantage because those Nitro kids are training all year. They're going to 6 to 10 tournaments. So we want to give other kids an opportunity because, as we've seen, we have so much talent in our house league, like untapped talent, that they just need a little more training. And parents want their kids year round, so we got to offer it, right? We can't just be naive and be like, all right, it's just Nitro season. It's like, no, it's house league skills and drills. We've ran QB clubs. We're going to do a women's skills and drills. Again, we're so lucky with Young Sportsplex, state-of-the-art facility, to have access to that and be able to be there as much as we are. For the uneducated, can you tell everyone, first of all, we'll start with the house league program. What does that mean? So house league is anyone plays. Generally, it's an every 2-year age gap. Our Friday Night Lights and Welland at Young Sportsplex is our popular one. We've got anywhere from 12 to 28 teams per hour. So 28 team divisions. It's insane, as you can imagine. That runs all Friday night. And then Saturday morning, we're running a house league this year. We're just in St. Catharines. In the spring, we were in St. Catharines and Niagara Falls. We have had talks of kind of moving around. People want it everywhere. We have a lot of people still coming from like Grimsby and Beamsville. So, we will explore that come next spring about popping up in different cities. As we see, we have players from all over the Niagara region, and more so on the travel side, all over Hamilton, Burlington. So we're certainly open to expansion. It's got to make sense. We don't ever want to lose touch of what makes our league such a community feel, and it's a lot of the people that are there in the Friday night and now the Saturday morning. So that's really important to me as well. So the house league, you would see players from within your own Niagara Youth Football Flag Association. They're all playing against each other. You got it. Okay. You got it. And everyone gets confused. Like, they see the travel kids there. And, we split all the travel kids up. Flag football is unique. When you play travel, you don't play house league, right? We keep them in the house league. We split them all up. We make it fun. We're like, hey, you're a travel player. Go be a leader. Go teach the next 7 kids, 8 kids how to have fun. It's not about you. You play in tournaments all year round, right? And they really embrace that role, and you see it. It's pretty cool, the dynamic. For the first time this year, we had a lot of all girls divisions for house league. I think that's been a great success story to see. A lot of our girls are killers. They can play co-ed no problem, but I think when they're in that all girl division, it's more their environment. They have more fun. They're more involved, and that's what we want to see. So and then we tier the house league. If you got a 28 team division, by the end of the year, we're looking for like an A, B, and C. So let's say Bubba's team's 8-0 and Maddie's 0-8. I don't want to see you in the playoffs. That's no fun. My kids are deflated. So we kind of make sure we tier it properly, let everyone have fun, competitive games. Now, there is an advanced level, and I believe that's called your Nitro program. Yes, you got it. What makes up that level of player? Yeah, so this past year we had 16 teams, maybe too many, but there was so much talent we didn't want to cut. So at some ages we had like an A team, a development team. We do tryouts. We have tryouts coming up. Right now we're doing our high school boys tryouts before they go to high school training camp. We'll have our girls teams and youth team tryouts in September. But we travel all over. We were down in Florida for the World Championship. We had 2 teams win a World Championship. No other Canadian teams down there did that. Again, I touched on nationals earlier this past weekend, 6 divisions, 4 gold, 1 silver, a lot of success. Again, I don't want to say the cheapest, but we're by far the most affordable travel program around. Our players last year paid $650, and that included home and away jerseys, 8 tournaments, 16 weeks training twice a week indoors, practicing all year round. We don't make any money off our travel program. I've structured it that way to get the best kids out there, life's expensive. If we can make one less thing a little less expensive, we're all over that. So, I think that's why we've had so much success. And, you're seeing it. We're at tryouts right now, and kids are coming from all over to be a part of our program, and it's really cool to see.
Well, we just rolled some visuals there of the boys, like for rocket arm quarterbacks, a receiver there, which was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like the chemistry, and I could see that maybe they do, have advanced football skills, because look at this. Like, these are incredible.
Oh, yeah,
Look at that. I don't want to catch.
Noah to Siddiqui. You'll be watching them in the OUA real soon. If they don't make their way stateside, you'll be seeing them.
They're just spectacular to watch. But then, as good as they are, boy, your Nitro's girls program, they're amazing.
The girls are on another level right now. I'm telling you, I think if you broke down the numbers on the year between the girls teams, there goes Aaliyah there. Good luck catching her. They maybe went in 30 tournaments between our 3 girls teams last year, and I wouldn't be surprised if we came away with 24 tournament wins. It was a very big year for our girls. They are working 24/7. We've got a lot of division, like 1-2 schools stateside, reaching out to our girls, offering scholarships, staying in touch with them. The girls thing it's something special we got going on.
These boys and girls in the Nitro program, they're traveling too, right?
Yes. So this year, Florida, Philly, Ohio,
wow.
All over. They're going to probably push me to do more next year. These kids and parents want more and more and more, and I'm here for it. So we're going to keep working.
The parents, we always have problems sometimes in some sports with the parents. Are we okay with the parents?
We're okay. We have our moments. Everyone does. One thing I like to say is we go back to that family community orientation, and I always tell everyone, you're a reflection of your kids, your coaches, myself, the league. We like to hold ourselves at a higher standard, and just be out there and remember we're being role models for the kids, right? And let's do things the right way, the proper way. I think that's why we have so much respect in the community, and with other leagues and organizations. We host an international tournament every year. We have over 100 teams come out. I'd like to think it's because they know how we handle business and do things, and we always try and put the kids first. So
the the National Football League, they're the behemoth. They are the shield. They are the standard when it comes to professional football around the world. And I see that there's a little agreement and a little participation with the NFL for you guys as well, too.
Yep, totally. So NFL's been great. I'm partnered with NFL Flag. Really good relationship with the Buffalo Bills. They do a lot for us. Free camps come up, bring players up. We had Fred Jackson last year. Keon Coleman was at a tournament we were at. Nice. They do so much good for us. And, I think the NFL, that brand is, it's the NFL, right? That's what every kid wants.
It's the shield.
We have so many options for jerseys. And when the NFL came in our lap, it was like, this is what we're doing, and my neighbors, I joke with them. They got 3 boys who have been playing for 4 years. And she's like, we're getting close, Maddie. We're going to have 32 NFL jerseys by the time we're done playing in your league. So it's a lot of fun.
Where is this, you guys, as I said, it seems to me, and again, with your numbers and all that's going on and all that are participating, are we also seeing growth in the sport, in terms of the other teams that you're playing in Ontario?
Definitely. I think we got a bullseye in our back, and I hope it's a nice one. We're having a lot of success, and I think you're seeing it growing across, right? And, one thing I always say, Bubba, is I support other leagues. I have calls with other leagues. I try and help them grow it. There's a lot of great people in the industry and in the game, and I'm like, I always just try and remind themselves why they got involved with it. And it wasn't to get rich quick, right? And, you see some of these leagues, they're popping up. Their fees, in my opinion, are just way too much. You see some 8-9 week seasons, $300. I get it. Everyone can do business how they want to do it. I'm just trying to channel my energy with people that share similar goals, where we're not forgetting where we came from. We're still making this affordable and accessible. And I tell people to do their homework and, reach out to our league or anything if you have questions about what you're paying and what you should be paying. Because unfortunately everyone and their mother's trying to get involved, right, with the flag, which is good. It's good. I'm not trying to take anything away from it, but I just try and tell people, do your research, because there's a lot of good leagues out there that maybe aren't all over social media. They're not doing all this because it's a ma and pa shop, and they're just doing it out of the good of their heart and the passion, and they're just trying to make ends meet. So they don't put that extra energy into it, but they run a great league, right? So
You'll see where I'm going with this here. I'll set the tracks this way. Like, what injuries would we see in this sport? I mean, it's sport. Like, things are going to happen.
Yeah.
Would it be leg related, arm? Like.
Yeah, it's the funny ones, right? It's the odd non-contact with
Right.
the ACL or things like that. Tryouts the other night, poor guy dislocated his finger. Just stubbing off a ball. It's fast paced. You see those video clips. Things still do happen. I think stateside they're going a lot more soft shell helmets, and we're going to dive more into the high school boys to the 7-on-7 touch football game, and we might look into that just as some added protection. But as a whole, touch wood, 160 travel players playing year round, our injury count was very low, and that's the whole idea of this is let them play their tackle season whenever they're doing it. We'll see what happens. Eventually I don't know that kids should be playing 20 plus tackle games a year, so I think this is a great avenue where whatever you're doing with tackle is great. I fully encourage that, and then you've got this as an alternative to just kind of not have so much wear and tear on the hitting, right? So
well, and this is why I asked this question, right, about the injuries, because I think right now tackle football is maybe under being questioned is maybe a little tough, but parents have decisions to make when it comes to tackle football. And we've seen many NFL retired players, some of them big names, Kurt Warner, a Super Bowl winner, who has outwardly said that his kids will not be playing tackle football. And I guess this is where the touch and flag can really be a big help.
It sure can, Bubba. And the other thing I tell people is, we talked about this earlier. It's a hard decision for parents on what to do, and I think some people think I'm like I'm a big tackle football supporter. I had some of my best Nitros go play Niagara Spears. They had a great summer, and I was fully supportive of that. I think what the flag and touch game does is it's an intro to the game, and what you're seeing happen, at least on the Nitro scale, is we're going against these other programs that are like tackle players, and we're having a lot of success. These kids have been catching and throwing and repping all the skills they need. So then when they progress into tackle, now it's just learning how to hit and take a hit, and they're not worried about catching a ball and batting a ball down in their fundamentals. They have all the skills to set them up for success. So we always say, we'll give them the foundation, so if they want to go into tackle football, they can. And I think it's really important to have that layer of skills before you get into tackle, because I can tell you, this tackle's a fast game, it's a violent game, but the skill set are very high too. So when you have none of that and you go into that, it can be overwhelming. Whereas if you come and you get the skills, the basics, the foundation, it's kind of a soft entry point, and then it prepares them for tackle football.
Very well said, very well said. Because I love tackle football, but I cannot admit that there is not some danger in playing the sport. And I mean, again, you talk about you have 4-year-olds playing the sport. We don't have 4-year-olds with concussions, right? We don't want that.
We don't want that.
Right? And that doesn't make good for the sport, and takes the kid maybe from not wanting to play the sport as well, too.
To right out of it.
Right out of it.
And then we've seen it. We've had kids come to tackle at such a young age. And, I really hope the provincial body and the national body eventually get to a place where they're kind of dictating what is the safe age. I don't know what it is. It's open a can of worms to give an opinion on it, but when I see some young kids playing tackle that can't even hold their head up safely, and depending on what program you're at, we're fortunate in Niagara. There's a lot of good tackle coaches, a lot of good tackle programs, and I'm sure there is in a lot of cities, but at some high schools I've seen it, there's not good tackle coaches there, and they're teaching a grade 9 kid who's never played tackle football how to give and take a hit. It's scary, right? Let's be honest, it's a scary thing. So you want to get the foundations, you want to do your homework, and know that you're in a safe environment to set them up to be able to play the game.
Very, very nice. But it's so true, because we want the sport to grow at all levels and all abilities, and have options for the kids.
Totally.
The future. Where does the future of flag football? I hear Olympics. I hear what's going on with the CFL and the NFL, and maybe them having their own adult leagues as well too. I mean, obviously a more advanced talk in the NFL than the CFL, but a lot of times it's a copycat league, right? Yeah. What's the future of this sport?
It's got to make sense, right? I mean, I've watched a lot of flag football film, and when I've been down in the Worlds this past year with my oldest high school boys, oldest high school girls, they both won a world championship, and I'm coaching this game. It's live on ESPN, and you replay it and watch it later, and I'm not biased because their teams I coach, these kids are phenomenal. The level of play. I got to give a quick shout out to Trent Dobson, year one kid going to Guelph, starting receiver tomorrow night. You'll see him, and he was a Nitro from day one. He played like a couple tackle seasons, not a lot. He's hungry for tackle because he started it, in my opinion, at the right age. But the talent is off the charts, and these players at Flag in 5-6 years when they get into their 20s, I hope there's something there, and I hope the NFL gets behind it. I hope the CFL gets behind it, because it's a fast-paced, exciting game that I think people love watching. I've seen it on ESPN with their semi-pro league when they had Michael Vick and those guys playing, and $1 million was up for grabs. There's money behind the game. You see it at the youth level. There's a lot of money.
Pro Bowl now.
Pro Bowl, right? It's everywhere. So I'd love to see it, and for the kids that maybe don't make the NFL or CFL, which is hard, maybe they got a chance there. But let's just keep growing this, and then the sky's the limit for it, right?
Here's an interesting question that I'm starting to hear milked around a little bit right now. Is that, especially, I'll use the Olympics as, and of course everyone is saying that it's going to be, the American team will be made up of NFLers. Paul LaPolice runs the CFL, at least, the Canadian side of it.
Yeah.
And there's a belief that he'll be taking Canadian players from the CFL here.
Yeah.
But then I've also heard an argument that because they play tackle football, they're refined for the sport in a particular way.
Yeah.
And that the people that are actually playing for the national teams right now, touch and flag teams, are better suited for the higher level competition because they're not playing tackle football. They're playing touch and flag football.
Yeah.
Would you agree to that?
Oh, it's $1 million question. Here's the thing, though, and I think we can both agree on this. You slap on the Olympics, I want to see Tyreek Hill. I want to see Lamar Jackson. I want to see Jefferson. Listen, not to take anything away, those teams are fantastic. I think the hardest skill set for anyone getting a flag is the defense and the flag pulling. That's a skill. That's an art. The system of the game, it's very different, and so there is some logic there. I maybe a hybrid team makes sense. Maybe they got to go toe-to-toe and play it out and see what happens. I know on the American side, there is a very good team that is not NFL guys, and I've seen them play against guys fresh out of the NFL, like Ocho Cinco, Terrell Owens, when they were still like prime players, and they beat them good. Now, are they going to, I don't know. Who's running with Tyreek Hill and Jefferson and some of these guys? I don't know. We got to maybe see it, but it's a great question. I think I go back. I use the Canadian Olympic story. Selfishly, I'd rather see the NHL guys. Selfishly, I'd probably rather see the NFL, CFL guys. But I'm open to anything. Let's get the best team out there that's going to represent, right? So,
maybe the little hybrid. I like that. That's a good idea. So, yeah, because some of these sort of national guys can show the pro guys a little something.
Exactly.
Hey, you've told us a lot about what you're doing down in Niagara. I'm really happy and excited for you guys. And, you're growing and you're so big right now. And what's up for the future? It's amazing to know. And who knows what happens. So, I got to say congratulations.
Thanks, well, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You've put in the amount of, like I said, that's your full-time gig, and everyone's hopping on board. And anyway, as I said, the thing Copycat League is really out there, because I'm sure there will be other places in other cities that sort of mirror your program and what you've been pulling off, because obviously it's working. So like I said, congratulations, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, Bob. I really appreciate it.
It's great to see you doing it well on the national and worldwide as well too.
Yes, thank you. It's always cool whenever you can put Canada on the map. I think early on they were like, who's Nitro? And when we go there now, they're like, no, they're the real deal. And that's cool to see, because the States is the States. They're the standard, and that's where we're trying to follow suit with. So
let's knock down those Americans.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, that's your Sportsline podcast for the day. And if you just seen and heard, we love talking sports at the high level. If you do know of an athlete, team, or event to promote, the Sportsline podcast, you want to hear from you. Please hit that thumbs up, like, and subscribe button. And if you have something to say, we always appreciate your comments. For the outstanding people that make the Sportsline podcast possible, thank you so very much. And we'll see you real soon.